But I guess I've always been sort of quirky, offbeat, a little twisted.
Today I'm going to tell you a story about Sir Reginald Snufflebottom, or Reggie for short, a dachshund with the longest body, the shortest legs, and a personality that could fill a circus tent. Reggie, despite his sausage-like physique, fancied himself a master detective. He'd seen too many detective shows on TV and was convinced every household object held a secret, especially garden gnomes. He believed they were plotting something big. One sunny afternoon, Reggie decided to crack the case of the suspiciously smiling garden gnomes. He donned his detective hat, a slightly too large beanie that kept slipping over his eyes, and armed himself with his magnifying glass, a discarded bottle cap. He started his investigation by sniffing around the gnomes, his long body dragging through the flower beds like a furry vacuum cleaner. He barked at them, demanding answers, but the gnomes, as always, remained stubbornly silent, their painted smiles mocking him. Reggie decided to try a different tactic: interrogation. He lined up the gnomes, his tiny legs struggling to keep up, and began questioning them one by one. "Where were you last night?" He barked at a gnome with a fishing rod. "What are you hiding under your pointy hat?" He yipped at another. The gnomes, of course, didn't answer. Frustrated, Reggie decided to try a more physical approach. He attempted to shake the answers out of them, resulting in a comical gnome bowling situation that sent the ceramic figures tumbling into the petunias. Max, his human, a boy with a talent for finding humor in even the most bizarre situations, watched the gnome-pocalypse with increasing amusement. He couldn't help but laugh as Reggie, covered in dirt and gnome-shaped bruises, barked his frustration at the silent, smiling statues. Reggie, defeated by the gnomes, decided to find a new mystery to solve. He'd heard Max's mom, a woman with a perpetually frazzled but loving demeanor, complain about the vacuum cleaner. He decided it was a monster, a sock-eating monster, to be precise. He waited until Max's mom turned on the vacuum cleaner, then launched his attack. He barked at the monstrous machine, his tiny legs churning like a furry blender. He tried to bite the hose, which resulted in him being dragged across the living room like a furry, squeaking dust bunny. He then decided to try a more elegant approach. He attempted to perform a tango with the vacuum cleaner, his long body swaying and his tail wagging like a frenzied feather duster. The result was a chaotic dance of dog and machine, a whirlwind of fur and dust. Max's mom, watching the vacuum cleaner tango, couldn't help but laugh. She tried to explain that the vacuum cleaner wasn't a monster, but Reggie, convinced he was fighting a noble battle, ignored her. Just then, The vacuum cleaner sucked up one of Max's dad's socks, a striped, fuzzy sock that Reggie had deemed the most delicious-looking sock in the house. Reggie, seeing his nemesis consume his prize, went berserk. He barked, he lunged, he even attempted to perform a dramatic rescue by diving headfirst into the vacuum cleaner bag. The result was a furry, sock-filled explosion. Max's mom, covered in dust and sock fluff, finally managed to turn off the vacuum cleaner. Reggie, covered in dust and looking utterly triumphant, emerged from the sock-filled abyss, holding the striped sock in his mouth like a trophy. Despite his vacuum cleaner and gnome-related mishaps, Reggie had a soft spot for squirrels. He considered them his furry, acorn-loving friends. And he had a particular fondness for hot dogs, the delicious, tube-shaped treats that Max's dad grilled on special occasions. One sunny afternoon, Max's dad decided to host a barbecue. He grilled a platter of sizzling hot dogs, their savory aroma wafting through the backyard. Reggie, smelling the delicious treats, was in a state of near-religious ecstasy. Just then, a group of squirrels, attracted by the same savory aroma, descended upon the backyard. Reggie, seeing his furry friends in danger, decided to become their protector. He barked at the squirrels, attempting to warn them away from the hot dogs. But the squirrels, being squirrels, ignored him. They were too focused on the delicious treats. Reggie, realizing that diplomacy had failed, decided to employ a more musical approach. He began to sing to the squirrels a series of high-pitched yips and barks that sounded suspiciously like a doggy opera. The squirrels, startled by the canine symphony, paused their hot dog heist. They looked at Reggie, their tiny heads tilted in confusion. Reggie, seeing his audience captivated, continued his operatic performance, his long body swaying and his tail wagging like a furry conductor's baton. Max and his parents, watching the squirrel symphony, couldn't help but laugh. Reggie, convinced he was saving the squirrels from the hot dogs, barked a triumphant woof. Just then, a rogue hot dog rolled off the grill and landed at Reggie's feet. He looked at the hot dog, then at the squirrels, then back at the hot dog. He couldn't resist. He snatched the hot dog and ran off, leaving a trail of squirrel confusion and human amusement in his wake. Reggie, the tiny, sausage-shaped detective, had once again turned an ordinary day into a hilarious adventure. If you like this video, please leave a like and a subscribe. It will really help our channel grow. But if you don't like it, then just skip it and don't forget to check out our other videos. Thank you very much and goodbye.